Look at any keyboard in front of you. QWERTY. Not ABCDEF. Not alphabetical, not frequency-based, not optimized for the most common letters in English. Just QWERTY. And somehow, this specific arrangement, invented in the 1870s, ended up on every laptop, every phone keyboard, every typing interface on the planet. The common assumption is that someone designed it this way for a reason that still makes sense. They did design it for a reason. That reason stopped existing about 125 years ago.
In the early 1870s, a printer named Christopher Latham Scholes was trying to build a commercial typewriter. His first keyboards were close to alphabetical, and they had a problem. Typewriters worked by physical metal arms, one for each letter, swinging up to strike a ribbon against paper. When you typed fast, the arms for commonly used letter combinations would collide mid-air and jam together. So the layout had to be rearranged. Common letter pairs needed to be separated. Letters that appeared together in English words had to be placed far enough apart that their arms could swing and return before the next one arrived. QWERTY was that solution. Not the fastest layout for human fingers, but the most reliable layout for mechanical arms.
Here is where the story takes a strange turn. By the early 1900s, typewriter technology had improved enough that jamming was no longer the problem it once was. The mechanical constraint that created QWERTY had been largely solved. But QWERTY stayed. Because by then, typing schools had formed around it. Typists had learned it, businesses had bought the machines, and an entire industry had standardized. And in the 1930s, a psychologist named August Dvorak decided to test whether a better layout was actually possible. He designed one, placing the most common English letters on the home row and reducing finger movement by a significant margin. Studies found it was measurably faster. Almost nobody switched. Dvorak's layout was not rejected because it was wrong. It was rejected because switching had a cost that the improvement could not justify. Every typist who had spent years learning QWERTY would need to relearn from scratch. Every keyboard manufacturer would need to retool. Every typing course would need to be rewritten. Every business would need to absorb months of reduced productivity from staff learning a new layout. The benefit was real, but it was marginal, and it arrived too late. QWERTY had already become the infrastructure. Not the best arrangement of letters, but the arrangement that everything else was already built around. So the keyboard in front of you was not designed for speed. It was not designed for comfort. It was not designed for the way human hands actually move. It was designed to stop metal arms from colliding in a machine that no longer exists. And it survived because the world learned it before anyone had a chance to offer something better. That is what a standard looks like when it hardens completely. Not the right answer, the first answer that became impossible to undo. You are not typing on the most efficient keyboard. You are typing on the one that survived. If you want more small things with big reasons, subscribe.